Okay, let me get into the story. Why is it being reported by the Wall Street Journal? As Bree said, this is no longer just like a trend that you see random people do on TikTok. This is an entire industry. What does this say about our hearts and our souls? The state of our nation. The Wall Street Journal published this article on the Reborn doll community on July 23rd. It's titled, Why People Are Buying $8,000 Lifelike Baby Dolls. Do not tell me people aren't having kids because they can't afford it. Okay? Not only this, but we also see people paying thousands and thousands of dollars to keep their 13-year-old Shih Tzus alive. Okay? It is not because people can't afford to have kids. It is a matter of priorities. It is a matter of culture. So Reborn dolls are hyper-realistic baby dolls, sometimes costing up to $10,000, that are often treated by their owners as real infants. The reborn doll phenomenon started in the early 2000s, has recently become a worldwide trend. Collectors consider themselves parents and range in age from small children to senior citizens. Not the dolls, but the collectors, right? There's not like reborn old people, right?
I sure hope not, but there are reborn toddlers.
Okay, I'm disturbed. There are even expos and conventions celebrating the hobby, including the Dolls of the World Expo that took place in June with 1,500 attendees at a convention center in Greensboro, North Carolina. We already put up that picture. We can put up the picture again just so we can talk about it. Like, you can see how realistic this is. And a lot of the people, I do see like a child in the picture, but it looks like a lot of the people looking that they are that they're grown-ups. We're not talking about, like, I remember when I was little, we had those baby dolls that felt like real babies. They were heavy and they looked realistic. I mean, these look really, really real. The dolls are made in a labor-intensive process, which is part of the reason for the hefty price tag, according to WSJ. Many of the artists are women who work in home studios, who hand paint the dolls' veins, root individual hairs, and use expensive materials like silicone and glass eyes to make the dolls lifelike. Supplies for one doll can cost more than $500. You add the labor on top of that, but you're still, if you're selling it for $8,000, you are making a good profit. Collectors argue that the dolls can be therapeutic for women who have lost babies or suffered miscarriages, but according to the Wall Street Journal, some of the collectors have real children and grandchildren. I don't think that this is a form of redemption and therapy for people who have lost or who have struggled with infertility. In fact, I know it's not, because it is a fake replacement for something that is real. And it is a fake balm for a real deep wound. It is like, I couldn't even say that it's like putting a Band-Aid on like a head gash. I would say it's like doing something harmful to it. I don't even know. Putting dirt in it, making it worse. I actually think that you are creating an infection that is going to infest your heart and your soul by trying to attach to and put hope and belonging into an inanimate object. That will only lead to further heartbreak, because at some point, the humanity inside you, the conscience you have, the real grief you're feeling will collide with the reality that this is not a real person, who is not living, who is not growing, who does not depend upon you. It is okay to have that feeling of loss. It is okay to feel immense pain. I think it's even okay to be tempted to see, will this fill that void? I understand where that feeling comes from, but this is asking an object to do that which it never can. And I disagree with this assertion that it hurts no one. I think it's bad for your soul, and I care for people's souls. And by the way, if people can replace a real child that has needs, that has demands, that requires sacrifice and discomfort and inconvenience and creates growth in the individual and causes us to reorder society to protect this very vulnerable and helpless person. If people can just skirt all of that in favor of this object that is cute and that you can play with, but that you can toss aside whenever you don't want it anymore, then we've got a problem that creates disorder. I would say that successful and healthy societies are ordered around caring for the most vulnerable. I'm not talking about a welfare state, that the welfare state has to take money from those who have and forcibly give it to the have-nots. I'm not talking necessarily about politics primarily. I'm talking about how we order our communities, how we order our own lives, our own churches, how we create these systems of care, what we sacrifice for, whom we sacrifice for. It is healthy when we sacrifice for, give dignity to, and care for those who can't help themselves, babies and children and older people and the vulnerable. It is disordered when we say, well, we are actually going to sacrifice the needs of children on behalf of adult desires, which we see in so many different ways. And in this way, I think people are ignoring their responsibility to care for real children, whether they're their own children or they're orphans or they're poor children or they're foster children or children who need help in some other way, because they are pouring all their resources and their time into these fake things. Okay, this is real. This is how people are ordering their lives and spending their time and money while there are actual children who need our help. Sought to. That is very frightening to me. And this is, I would say, a form of worship. And therefore, I do believe that it's a form of idolatry. And you might ask, well, what's the difference in spending this time and this energy on a real person? If it's the same amount of time and energy spent, then how is one idolatry? And then when you're taking care of a real child, it's not. Because taking care of a real child is stewardship. It's responsibility. It's doing something that has to be done. It is taking care of a gift that God has given you, a real soul that will live forever in one of two places. Your responsibility for that child, for their physical and spiritual well-being, has both a temporal and eternal impact. But the care and the resources and the time and the energy given to an inanimate object, it is a dead end. And therefore, it is wasting the one precious life that you have as a person.